I have Trump derangement syndrome. I'm
Okay.
very proud. It's a disease that I'm very proud of. I don't want to get rid of it. I can't stand it.
So I am going to tell you that we do have to. I don't swear in public very well, but we have to fuck Trump.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
What they meant to say? Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
There are no neutrals found. You're either with the union.
We've also created what we call the Fight Terror Fund, the FTF, or, F Trump Fund, too, however you want to take it.
That's the other reason why we didn't win, because the Trump was at the goddamn game. God damn it! Trump should not have been at our fucking game.
You know what's in the air, Wumpy?
What's
Trumpism. We lost the election. Wait a minute. We lost the election. We're miserable. Half of this country is miserable. And let's just tell the truth. We hate that he won. We hate it. And everybody's uptight and crazy right now.
Well, have you seen the new Scott Rasmussen poll? 28% of Democrats believe that the world would have been better off if Trump had been killed. 24% aren't sure. 51% don't believe he should get any more security.
I probably could have continued with those clips for a good 2 to 3 hours. I mean, there is video after video after video of this Trump derangement syndrome that has literally gone wild. In fact, there has been a therapist who has even dubbed this an actual disorder. But here's the thing. I cannot remember at all. I don't think anyone can remember any stories or articles or even just talk amongst ourselves about any conservative or Republican having to see or seek mental health care over Joe Biden and the things that Joe Biden or even Barack Obama has done. I don't know of anyone. And there's no articles that have been published regarding any of that. I mean, this mass psychosis has gripped many on the left. And one has to ask, why does it only affect the one side and not the right? And I'll leave that to your own detriment as to what the answer is. I have no idea. But anyway, many on the left are kind of in this zombie state and are literally got their panties in a wad over Donald J. Trump. And I want to start with this article and then go to a more current article. But back in 2018, I'm going to go back before I go forward, but back in 2018, a therapist actually diagnosed the Trump derangement disorder, or she called it, she or he, I don't know if the sex on the therapist there, but they called it a Trump anxiety disorder. And here it is. And it states, therapists coin new term, Trump anxiety disorder. And this is back in 2018, by the way, in Donald Trump's first presidency. But here's what it says. Elizabeth Lamute, therapist and founder of DC Counseling and Psychotherapy Center in Washington, D.C., told Canada's CBC News that there is a collective politically induced anxiety among patients. She claims that President Trump's name has come up frequently in sessions with her clients. Many feel on edge about the possible dire effects of his decision, rhetoric, and policies. There is fear of the world ending. It is very disorienting and constantly unsettling. And by the way, just so you have the date on this article, July 28th, 2018. So during his first term, these people were literally already freaking out. Could you imagine what's happening right now to some of these people? Well, I guess you got a taste of it in the beginning of this video because they all seem to have TDS. But Lamotte said that these patients exhibit behavior similar to patients who have a parent with a personality disorder. Whether it's conscious or not, I think we look into the President of the United States as a psychological parent. It's funny because many Republicans didn't look at Joe Biden like a psychological parent. No, I think most of us looked at Joe Biden as mentally incapable dementia patient, right? But anyway, he goes on to say this: although Trump anxiety disorder, which I call and you call Trump TDS syndrome, right? It's not an official diagnosis. The symptoms include a lack of sleep, a feeling of loss of control and helplessness in an unpredictable socio-political climate, along with endless negative headlines and excessive time spent on social media. This has also been theorized in a 2017 essay written by clinical psychologist Jennifer Panning for a book co-edited by Harvard and Yale psychologists. Boom, boom, boom. I want to play the dreadful music there, right? But now that we have all this action with Donald J. Trump, liberals are working overtime. Listen to what Communist News Network, aka CNN, had to say now that Donald Trump is in office. Take a listen.
I was walking to get breakfast one day.
So you're doing this every day. You're in D.C. Yes. The pace of the Trump administration seems to be moving pretty quickly. How are you holding up?
It is insane, and I think everyone is kind of readjusting and re-remembering what it was like 4 years ago, 4 years ago. I remember when Biden first took office in January, the New York Times wrote the story about how quiet the weekends were, because for reporters, every weekend had just been it was like a 7-day work week. And now we're back to that, basically, where it's just essentially nonstop every day. You kind of wake up not knowing what you're going to be doing, what the schedule is. I was walking to get breakfast one day this week. I was like, okay, I'm going to have a nice little breakfast before I go to work. And halfway there, they're like, Trump's doing a press conference in an hour. And I physically ran back home so I could change and get ready.
Let me put this in layman terms. Joe Biden was mentally incapable to do a lot of the press stuff. His mind wasn't all there. He was gone. Somebody else was running the show, and it sure the hell wasn't him. Biden, I don't know. His people, I don't know. But he wasn't in the show. He was gone in the house. In other words, Joe Biden wasn't quite there. He didn't do anything. He didn't interact with the press. And now that we got a real president back in charge, I have to do my job and be around. Funny how she didn't put two and two together. That's kind of what goes with TDS. But speaking of TDS, I found this great article by Axios that I wanted to show you guys. And it's a very current article. It was written on February 10th of 2025. So just last month. But here it is. Trump's shock and awe tests Americans' response to chaos. And basically what this article is saying, Donald Trump's doing so much that people can't keep up on their freaking out. So here's Freak Out 2.0 or TDS 2.0. And here's what it says. And keep remember, Axios is a far left news source. But the Trump administration's shock and awe strategy was meant to overwhelm opponents, disrupt the establishment, and bust norms. But it's also sweeping up ordinary Americans who disdain politics but find they can't detach from the barrage of news. And by the way, the barrage of news is these liberal news sources that lie a lot. And that's what's unfortunately hurting a lot of these people with TDS. They have to hear all this negative news by Axios and CNN and all these people that half of it isn't even legit. But it goes on. Some find a way of adjusting their brains to the drama and unpredictability while others try to tune it out. That could be difficult with rollbacks of, oh my gosh, DEI practices, immigration and custom enforcement raids, trade wars, order targeting transgender rights, and Department of Government efficacy takeovers of public data, potentially touching every segment of society. Which, by the way, those are all leftist talking points. So notice the people she's referencing there. Those who are upset with DEI, those who are upset that ICE is doing their job, those who are upset that we're no longer allowing the transgender of under 18-year-olds. That's not an attack on transgender rights. That's just saying when you're an old enough person, then you can go and get the stuff, but not when you're a little child. So that's a moot point. That's not happening. And then the takeover of our public data, that's not even legit. He's researching the information, but you see how they twist the story? So their readers read it and they're like, oh my God, there's a takeover of the government. I heard somebody say the other day, Donald Trump's taking over, there's a coup or whatever. And I'm like, holy cow, they're not even reading the real stuff. The coup, if there is so-called one or whatever, is because the Democrats are wanting to hide all the crap that they've been involved in. They don't want Doge to find it. And yes, sources like Axios right here is literally over-exaggerating and lying. He's not taking over data. He is doing his job and auditing the government. That's what's happening. And so they get their people so fearful that they're encouraging TDS. This is encouraging TDS because they're lying. No, he's not after the public data, right? Like, hopefully you guys watched the video of their day where I forget the YouTuber name, but she said, you know, it's kind of like your girlfriend busts the boyfriend for cheating on him. And he's like, you're invading my privacy because you're reading my phone. You know, you can't have my phone. And you're like, yeah, I can. You cheated on me. Here's what I found. That's kind of what Elon Musk is doing. And yet here they are just saying lie after lie. But they go on about TDS. Mental health professionals say even people who don't see themselves as directly affected by administrative actions are feeling frazzled by the dizzying pace and Trump's enduring ability to command attention. That's definitely true. Trump can command attention, but they're directly affected and they feel so frazzled. It goes on. There's an element of chaos, said Andrea Bonor, a Georgetown University psychological professor who sees patients in the DC area. A sense of not knowing what's coming and not being able to control what's coming is really hard on the stress response. And she concludes that she's seen an uptick in patients, particularly Democrats, expressing a sense of burnout, guilt, and despair over losing the old way of life. It seems like Trump derangement syndrome is only getting worse. It's getting worse, folks. And they're really panicking about it. Look, I don't see Trump derangement symptom going away anytime soon. And that's why I think groups like me and people like me and others, we need to dispel all of these lies by the mainstream media. What Donald Trump and more specifically what Elon Musk is doing with auditing all these departments is legitimately something that needs to be done. And Democrats and Republicans should be on even grounds with this. But instead, the media is out there lying, saying he's taking over the government, he's stealing your information. But they had no problems when we got hacked by China. Not one outrage from the Democrat Party. Nowhere near this. Nothing. And the reason is because China's not out there revealing their dirt and their corruption. We just found all the corruption in multiple departments, from the Department of Education to USAID to FEMA and many others. That FBI and the whole 9 yards that Elon Musk has been involved in. And all these audits show crazy things. Social Security's, people still getting paid at Social Security benefits at 120 years of age. Why are they so upset about this? And we all know it's because they're in on the action and reaping benefits. And if this is their hill to die on, more power to them, because they're just developing more TDS, right? Anyhow, I wanted to bring all of that to you guys. As a quick reminder, please check out my sponsor, Noble Gold Investments, by going to lisahavengold.com. As you know, we never know when the stock markets are going to crash. Just ask Nvidia, who lost over $600 billion overnight, just like that. So you never know what is going to happen. And that's why I want to encourage you guys to make sure you have a plan. And Noble Gold Investments can do that for you. Give them a call at 1-877-646-5347. Make sure you mention my name, because they are giving away up to 2 of these 5-ounce silver coins here that you see on the screen. These things are awesome, but they're with any approved plan. So make sure you bring that up. But I really want you to hedge protection on yourself in light of everything that's going on, to make sure you and your family are safe from those kinds of crises. And they also ship gold and silver directly to your door. So give them a call. Let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven, or fill out this information, click Get It Now, and they'll send you that free gold and silver investment guide. Anyhow, there's always a risk to investing. There's never a guarantee. If you want more information, click that more button or click the link in the description box below. Anyhow, with all of that, I love you guys. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.